Hello, Virgo, and welcome to your reading. This is Bright Soul Collective Tarot. My name is Laura, and these will be your intuitive insights and advice for the month of January 2023. Because we're getting a late start, I'm going to extend the timeline a little bit to include into the first week or two of February 2023. And that will give us a good buffer so that you guys are covered, and that gives me some time to get the February readings prepared and out for you. So this reading will be for Virgo, Sun, Moon, and Rising. By all means, if you know your major placements, the three of them, you can check out any and all of the videos that apply, as each one could resonate for you differently. And as always, before we get started, do keep in mind these readings are general in nature, so that means they're meant to apply to a more broad collective of individuals, and not necessarily every detail will be for you. I highly recommend you take anything and everything that does resonate, however that makes sense for your specific situation. Use your discretion and your own wisdom in terms of what is right for you and what applies, and you can simply leave the rest. So Virgo, I hope you're all doing well. Happy New Year, happy 2023. If you're returning, I apologize. I was a little MIA for the last couple of months of 2022. We went through a lot here. It was just kind of chaotic and a little awful at times. We had just kind of like one thing happen after another. So I had to kind of pull my energy back and just focus on myself and my family. I didn't do a whole lot of energy work during that time. But now I'm back. I'm super happy to be here. And if you're new and this is your first time joining me, welcome, and thank you so much for sharing this time and space with me. I cannot wait to get into your reading and take a look at what lies ahead for you guys. I've got your oracle card here. As always, we'll pull a little bit of tarot. After the cards are done, I'm going to share with you the couple of channeled messages that I took time to sit down and connect with before we started doing anything with your reading. And then we'll finish with a final oracle message and some affirmations to tie everything together. So before we get into your card, I'm just going to share with you the energetic impression, the energy that I was picking up on as I was preparing for your reading. So it was kind of like this excited and squirrely kind of energy. So you might be feeling particularly like excited, excitable, energetic. And it was kind of like a sense of feeling good, like feeling good about what you're doing. And as a result of feeling good about what you're doing and how you're doing it, it's like there's a lot of motivation there. Like there's a lot of motivated energy available to you that you can kind of work with. So that's a really good sign. And also, as I'm recording, we're still in Capricorn season until I think the 20th of this month. And being an earth sign, that kind of energy you are familiar with and at home with. And also you're able to tap into the skills and the characteristics and the energies that are typically highlighted for Capricorns already. And that does have a lot to do with, taking action, work, finance, kind of like making your mark, being structured and like getting things done. So you might be particularly excited because you're making use of that energy. That could be it. But yeah, I got a sense of just happiness and feeling like a sense of freedom to do things the way that works best for you. So it's kind of like, yeah, I might have a structure and like there's a sense of flexibility within structure. So it's like if there's something that you're just not feeling, giving yourself the grace to not push yourself or force yourself to do it, because it's not like the grind culture where you have to just be like absolutely murdering yourself and working to the bone every day. This is kind of a sense of like letting yourself flow and do what comes naturally, paying attention to your energy levels and how you feel, and giving yourself the flexibility, even if it means like doing things out of order or coming back to something that you had prioritized previously, like at a later time. I just got the sense of like maybe kind of realizing that you don't have to structure and like push yourself to do as much as possible every day, that sometimes paying attention to what works best for you and allowing yourself that flexibility and maybe time to rest or do what comes easily as opposed to forcing it, that you might find that you're coming back rested, but also like more effective and more efficient. Because I got the sense of like I can do things a lot more quickly when I'm rested. So that might be something that you're kind of embracing this month. Yeah, so we're going to get into your card. Your oracle theme message for this month is truth be told. And it's actually interesting that this one in particular came out because it does kind of coincide with the energy I was picking up on when I was channeling your messages. So the channeled messages I'll share at the end, it does kind of tie into this truth be told energy. So yeah, so this month, it's kind of straightforward in a sense, but this month is all about connecting to truth. And more importantly, your truth, your inner truth. So what you feel and what you know to be true. And that isn't always like self-validating, like warm, fuzzy kind of stuff. This can also be truth about like, you know, things that potentially are hard to come to realize, like maybe the ways that you're holding yourself back, or maybe habits that tend to be unhealthy or self-destructive, or maybe something that you're doing that isn't aligned or healthy, right? So it can be really lovely, validating truths, and it can also be difficult truths. And it's basically saying like the more that we acknowledge both that light and that shadow, and that all of that is true for us, the more that we acknowledge that and accept that, and to make decisions and speak from a place of truth, the more we're able to kind of trust ourselves, right? The more we're able to connect to our intuition, connect to that like gut instinct. So it's only going to help serve us. Whereas the things that we deny or repress, they're still there, but they kind of interfere with that connection with self, right? And so, you know, fear might build, and that might prevent you from doing things that you really want to do, or making decisions that are really going to be helpful to you. So yeah, this is very much an energy of like the truth will set you free. So it's taking a moment to examine your relationship to self and what you know to be true for yourself. What do you feel about yourself? What things do you tell yourself? And just checking in on an energetic level to see like, does that feel right? Does that feel aligned? Like what have I been basing my decisions off of? And is that really what's true for me? Or, you know, have I been putting pressure on myself, or maybe being swayed by the opinions of others, or just like this general, the general cultural like expectations and those pressures that are kind of coming from an external source. So um, because this is the theme and the energy for this month, the more that you lean into it, the better off you'll be, I'll say, because there might be some opportunity for deeper insights and revelations that will help you come a little bit closer to yourself. Because with being true to yourself and expressing that truth like authentically and fearlessly, we kind of set ourselves free, right? But we also shine our light out, and we offer ourselves the opportunity to draw in people who are kind of on the same page, or who are looking for what we're putting out there. Whereas if people sense that we've got an agenda, or maybe there's some deception or self-deception, we can potentially draw on the wrong people and opportunities, or people that are going to challenge us in that capacity, or potentially take advantage of us. So yeah, there might be an opportunity for revelations, because the truth, giving ourselves the opportunity to recognize and follow our truth, is an act of self-love. And it's neat with the little owl here, because it's all about like wisdom and vision, and being able to take powerful, inspired action, right? And then you see there's this window open. And so it's kind of like acknowledging your truth and sharing that openly, even if it might be difficult, even if it might lead to difficult conversations or situations or decisions. It's like ultimately that's going to bring you to another level of awareness, right? So it's not gonna, acknowledging and following your truth is not gonna set you on the wrong path, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And it's kind of nice because it's like there's an opportunity there, like a window, a door opening to, you know, like a blue sky, right? So in acknowledging your truth and speaking your truth, it might actually be setting a part of you free, maybe a part of you that hasn't felt acknowledged, or a part of you that you felt as though you have to kind of contain or hide away from other people. And the neat thing also is that this owl is standing on a mask. So this is about the masks that we wear because of the expectations we have of ourselves. And usually that's what we've absorbed from our external environment, like the way that we were raised, the way that we were taught to approach things. It could be pressures and expectations from employers or friends or family or significant others. Or just a feeling of like needing to mask who we really are and what we really feel and what's really important to us. So it can also be delving into like, are we wearing a mask? Are there situations that we feel like we have to deny or cover up our truth to keep others comfortable, or to try and influence others in a way that's going to get us our way, right? Or get us what we want or what we feel we need. And this is saying that you can trust that you don't have to do that, but the decision is yours, right? And this is also about taking things at face value too. So it's like, if people are sharing their truth and showing you who they are, it's up to you to decide if you have room to accept that. And it's a remembrance that there are like universal truths, like things that are just known to be true. And then, so like the truth, and then there's a truth. Your truth is a truth. It's a personal thing, and it has everything to do with your experiences to date. So it's your lens that you view the world and your experiences through. And everyone's is different, right? And so there's no use trying to argue about what truth is truer, whether it's a universal truth, your truth, someone else's truth. It's our responsibility to connect to ours and to share that authentically, and to, ask other people to show up in the same energy. And then when we're all in that energy, we have the information that we need to decide, if we have room for each other, or if there's alignment, or if perhaps there's another fit that's best. And so it's kind of like, we do a disservice to ourselves and to others when we show up and wearing a mask or with inauthentic energy, because we're not honoring ourselves. So we're kind of sending out the wrong message, but we're also not giving other people the opportunity to really, truly decide like if they are on the same page. And if what we want is love and support and, reciprocal relationships and interactions and experiences, then we can't necessarily expect to have those if we're not putting out what we want, right? And who we truly are. So you might find that because this energy is highlighted this month, that you're being tested in that capacity. You might be put in uncomfortable positions where you're going to have to decide, like, do I just go along with this, or do I pretend like it's okay when it's not? Or do I, am I just going to be, frank and honest and see like what comes of that, right? So yeah, I think that the more that you lean into that and see that as like a really good and empowering thing, the better off you'll be. And yeah, it might be really illuminating for you. But that's not to say that it's all going to be magic and easy, because obviously with the truth comes, sometimes some difficult realizations, difficult conversations. But yeah, like leading with what you know to be true. And just honoring yourself is a big thing. And the other thing is, it could be you could be in a period of transition or change. That could be on a large or small scale. You would know if that applies to you. So yeah, there might be a little bit of instability in a certain area of your life or a certain connection. And because it's a period of transition, there might be time needed to kind of adjust. Maybe approaches need to change as a result of the changes that are going on. And so maybe conversations need to be had about like how circumstances are changing and how we need to change in order to adapt. So that could be also something that's coming up for you. So we're going to get into your tarot cards. So your first card this month is going to represent like a possible challenge or block, challenging energy that you might be faced with or have to work through. And, oh, sorry, a whole pile of cards dropped out. I just want one. So it could be, a particular challenge for you this month. And then your second card is going to be your advice. So your challenge this month is showing up as the Devil. And your advice is the Knight of Cups. And at the bottom of the deck is Temperance. That's kind of interesting. Okay, so with the Devil showing up here as your challenge, the Devil card is associated with Capricorn. So you might have a connection to a Capricorn. You might have Capricorn in your chart. But as I said, we are in Capricorn season currently, which you may be benefiting from. So that it could be also that. So for this to show up in your challenge position, it might be, this could be work, like it might be a focus on work, like a desire to move forward or to be more successful or to make more money or to have more, attention and notoriety. Like if you're building a business, if you want your product or your art or your like whatever it is that you have to offer, whatever it is that you're doing, if you want that to gain attention and support, you might be inclined to overdo it, like maybe putting too much of a priority on it, putting too much of a priority on like financial gain, financial stability, or like acquiring material possessions, or this is like our existence in the material world as well. So this can be a really great, like really effective, really focused energy, because it is all about like being able to put your nose to the grindstone and focus and get the work done and see the results. And the challenge of that is if you're in an energy where you're really, putting the work in and you're seeing those results manifest in a material way, sometimes we can get drawn into it. It can almost be like addictive, right? It can be addictive to feel the success. It can be addictive to see like the money that's coming in, or the attention, or the fact that it's improving our material stability. We're connecting with more resources, and it's about being able to keep ourselves balanced when we're in that position, right? So like not drawn and sucked into it, because if it does become a little bit of an addiction, sometimes we can find ourselves going a little bit overboard. So either we put too much emphasis on work and money and material goods, and like enjoyment, like kind of, I don't want to say greed, because that's it seems like such a negative thing, but like really like overindulgence, right? We can be drawn into overvaluing and participating too much in that, that kind of like material indulgence, that we lose sight of what's important to us, right? And so this is about not allowing, it's about being, being in the world and creating and experiencing that material existence, but not having that be your only kind of concern, right? So yeah, so there might be some kind of temptation that you are needing to work through, or that's maybe triggered within you. Like I said, this can also be like addictive. Anything that you find addictive, that you could find yourself easily being drawn into, and perhaps is maybe has the ability to bring you out of balance in other areas of your life. It's like everything is good in moderation, and it's not becoming a slave to those things that we value on a material level, whether it's money or like buying a house, or like buying clothes, like whatever the case may be, whatever your habits are when it comes to like abundance and material stability and even wealth. So yeah, this can be a really great card if you are working and you're trying to kind of get ahead. But yeah, with that comes the need to be aware and be balanced and make sure that you don't get sucked into a cycle of over prioritizing things in order to get ahead. And it's trusting that you can put your work in and you can experience your success, and still remain humble and grounded, and still have the time and energy to look after the other areas of your life. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Yeah, because it really has to do with how the material world can impact also our beliefs, right? And it's like the devil, right? The devil can only impact you and tempt you if you believe that the devil is real and you believe that he can, right? So it's like you still have ultimate power at the end of the day, and your heart and your inner knowing is going to be your compass and your true north. So even if you do find yourself getting a little bit drawn into something and maybe losing focus on the other areas of your life, that's totally okay, because at any time you can kind of ground yourself and return back to your truth. And because this is material in nature, it could also be interactions with other people who are looking for you to like show up and provide for them, or, you know, perhaps kind of participate in a more superficial exchange that's more focused on like generating some kind of abundance or generating some kind of productivity. Like, it doesn't have to be you specifically. It might be you being put in a position where somebody's kind of, you know, asking you to sell your soul for success. I don't know why that's what came through, but that could be part of it. And the Knight of Cups is showing up as your advice for dealing with this energy, which I think is really lovely, because the Knight of Cups is basically like the most the most romantic, like love kind of crazed card of the deck. So this could mean multiple things. Like, first and foremost, it could mean there could be like, maybe there's a Knight of Cups individual in your life, like somebody who brings a lot of love and connection and romance and deep meaning. And it doesn't have to be strictly romantic, because this can just also be about just sharing genuine and deep and meaningful, authentic connections with others, and people who are willing to kind of tell you what they see about you, tell you what they love about you, reinforce those positive and loving kind of characteristics, the people who are willing to express themselves. They're willing to move forward and offer you something of meaning, right? So it could be really connecting with and leaning on those individuals to help you work through anything that might be blocking, or work through anything that might be kind of drawing you into not necessarily overindulgence, it could be, but just an overemphasis on like work and productivity and money and like abundance. Anything that you might feel like at times has power over you, that can also be this devil energy. So yeah, it's kind of like killing that with love. And the beautiful thing also about the Knight of Cups energy is that that can be something that you connect with as well. So it could be a partner or somebody who's close to you that is going to help reinforce you. And it can also be you willing to show up in that loving energy, showing that to yourself, that love and kindness and compassion and respect first and foremost, making decisions from a place of love, taking care of your needs, filling your cup first and foremost, honoring your truth and what you know to be true, and not allowing anyone or anything, even your distorted thoughts or beliefs perhaps, from distracting you or taking you away from what's most important. And that might be the reinforcement that you need to kind of continue to honor this truth. And I kind of feel like this love, self-love, being able to give love freely to others, and connect on a deep, meaningful level, and share that authentically with others, is probably going to help you, continue to honor your truth, which in turn will probably help balance out whatever the way this challenge is showing up in your current circumstances. The thing that always comes to mind too with the Knight of Cups, in spite of it being like kind of like a romantic gesture card and like moving forward, it could be moving forward in a relationship, getting to another level of like stability. Like, so if you become official, or you get engaged, or you get married, or it's like time to start a family, it can be like a milestone energy too. But it doesn't have to just be in relationship. The thing that comes up a lot for me with this card is like, also kill them with kindness, right? and not in a fake way. But when you love yourself and you respect yourself and you honor and acknowledge your truth, it's a lot easier to be at ease and to approach other people with that energy, and also to encourage them to do the same thing. So it's like, even if someone's showing up in like some low vibrational, nasty energy, it's like, you don't have to be fake in order to be loving and kind, because that has a lot more to do with your relationship to yourself. And quite often we're tempted to respond to people in like maybe a less than kind or less than authentic way. When we don't like what they're doing, usually that has everything to do with how we feel about ourselves. Because when we're in a loving energy and we're honoring ourselves and we're at peace with ourselves, we don't feel the need to defend ourselves, and we don't feel the need to attack other people, because we can see that, they're living beings just like us, having similar experiences and just trying to kind of, get through the best that they can as well. And we can extend more grace. So yeah, this is a card of loving yourself and extending that love and grace to yourself and to others in an authentic way as well. And the thing that I love also with Temperance at the bottom of the deck, this is kind of the underlying energy of this reading. So it could be based on past circumstances, past experiences. You could still be kind of dealing with this energy as it is influencing this. So Temperance is all about balance, right? So balancing the demands on our time, balancing our responsibilities, balancing our emotions, balancing our relationships, right? It can be balancing our shadow and our light, right? And being able to accept that we cannot deny our shadow and the parts of us that maybe aren't so pretty and that we're not so proud of. We can't ignore that or suppress that in favor of only light, and vice versa, right? And so really part of acknowledging your truth is being able to accept and acknowledge and love the duality of who you are, and the fact that you always are going to have shadow elements or things that are a struggle for you, right? That you're going to be contending with, and also like darker experiences, just like you're going to have those beautiful, lovely attributes and those happy and exciting and love-filled experiences as well. And that's what we're meant to have, right? Because that duality exists in all of nature and all of throughout the universe, and it would be unreasonable to expect that it doesn't occur within us too. And so we do ourselves a disservice when we spend a lot of time judging our positive, negative, or our shadow and light. And it's only when we're able to accept that is innately part of the human experience, whether we like it or not, and to investigate and see what that has to show us, right? Because that has everything to do with our personal growth and development. And as much as the shadow can be triggering and difficult to accept, it also tells us still a lot about who we are and what's important to us, right? And it's a really, really key factor in doing our healing and also coming into a deeper level of acceptance and acknowledgement of our truth. And it's with that acceptance and that acknowledgement that we can really start to be moved by our truth, right? We can take action from that place, and we can share that openly with others. So it kind of looks like you've been set up to be in this energy right now. Yeah, so there may, and also even just with the Devil being the challenge and the Knight of Cups being the solution, there is a certain amount of duality and difference in those energies. And it's kind of like they're both beneficial and they can both be helpful to you. And you can work with both of those energies and use those strengths to your advantage. And it seems kind of like this loving energy is probably just what's going to help you balance this out right now. I'm just thinking if there's anything else. I think that's it. So I'm going to take a moment to share with you your channeled messages. So before I got your cards out and started this reading, I took some time to connect with your energy and just got like a top 2 for your channeled messages. So the first thing that came through was elephant in the room. And that really like resonated after I had written everything, all my notes down. I got your oracle card for the month, and that really resonated when I saw Truth Be Told, because the feeling that I got with elephant in the room is that like there's something there. There's something obvious, something that's impacting you or yourself and another, or your situations, like either physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, or in any combination of those ways. Yeah, and so it might just be for you or in connection with others, but it's the sense that like it needs to be addressed, right? Because it's like it's there. The elephant is there. Nobody really wants to acknowledge it or talk about it, but it's there. And its presence is having an effect on you or on others, whether you like it or not. And it's not going anywhere. The only way to kind of work through that energy is to address it, to have conversations, to acknowledge it. Maybe what is the elephant in the room? Why is it there? Why don't we want to talk about it? What's uncomfortable about it? And sometimes through that investigation, it could be an internal investigation if it's just for you. If it's in connection to other people, it might be just sitting down and having a very open, honest conversation about whatever that is, whatever that topic or issue is, whatever's going on. And it might seem insurmountable, and that's why there's some avoidance in dealing with it. But I think once you start to do that open investigation, allow yourself to be open and honest and authentic about how you feel and what you know to be true, and open up the lines of communication to have that quality of connection and conversation with another person, you might find that it's not so big of a deal, right? It might seem a lot less insurmountable once you start approaching it and addressing it. And it's kind of like the longer that you ignore it, the bigger that elephant becomes. So the other thing is when it's uncomfortable, it's also, it can be an opportunity for healing or growth. On a personal level or in relationship, it might be solidifying a relationship, because the more that we can share that truth and acknowledge those difficult things and have those uncomfortable conversations, which whether we like it or not, that's an integral part of relationships, and having a human experience is like we have to go through those uncomfortable things. And so whether we like it or not, they're going to be there and they're going to impact us, but the more that we can lean into that and make use of that, and proactively work through it, it can actually be like a really wonderful opportunity for connection and growth and healing even. And with that in mind, I also wanted to make a note that elephants may be significant to you. It could be a favorite animal, it could be a spirit animal, and elephants might be coming up for you this month. So that's just an added note. And your second channeled message was inventing doom and gloom, which I thought was a really interesting concept, like doom and gloom being invented or like fabricated. And so this could be you inventing or coming up with doom and gloom that isn't necessarily true. It could be somebody else who's doing that and projecting it onto you, or putting that into your environment. You know, even you think about the media, the way that they sensationalize things. So it's that kind of energy. And what I will say is that it's important for you this month to use your discernment and use that inner knowing and what you know to be true for you. That honest lens, being honest with yourself and being honest with others, use that to kind of filter through your experiences, the people around you, the information that's being given to you. Like you might just need to kind of use your discernment a little bit more from this place of truth, because just because it's in your mind, or because it's being presented to you in a doom and gloom kind of way, it does not mean that that is the actual truth or the nature of the situation. And so sometimes getting sucked into that energy, we can give our power away, and it becomes true because we've accepted it, right? And because we've accepted it and we've allowed it to impact us and our decisions, we end up carrying and making decisions from a place that isn't really representative of who we are and what we want. So it could be like really getting into a shadow energy, getting down on yourself, like feeling doom and gloom and despair about anything. It could be like a depression energy, like being drawn into depression. Sometimes that can have to do with this too, especially if like substances are involved. Or it might be just having someone or having that energy that's kind of posing a little bit of trouble for you this month. So if you're anticipating like bad news, or that things aren't going to work out, or that you're not worthy, I would just say like anything that comes across as doom and gloom and might be inspiring fear and putting kind of limitations on you, I would really, really take the time to use your discernment and filter that through the lens of what you know to be true for you. And don't allow yourself or anyone else to make mountains out of molehills, right? Because we don't want you giving away your power to, fabrications of the mind, right? Because if it's not really true, it's not going to serve you to absorb that and take that on and act from that place, especially if it's not yours, right? And especially if it's not what you know to be true for yourself, like in your heart. So you got this. I believe in you. So we're going to get you one final oracle message for this month. This will be just additional insight or advice. And I'm going to read directly from the guidebook, so you can just take it for what it is, however it might resonate for you. That'll be kind of maybe some food for thought to tie everything together. And then I'll get you a couple of affirmations that might be helpful for you this month. Okay. Oh, there we go. It's here. Okay, so your final oracle is Council of Light, which says divine orchestration, helpers in the subtle realms. And I love this card because it always makes me think of like, if you're someone that believes in spirit guides or like your spirit team, this can be like ancestors, passed on loved ones, people who are kind of watching over you. So I thought that's really lovely. It's also such a beautiful card. I'm obsessed with the colors, and it's so ethereal. Okay, so just bear with me a moment. I'm just going to find this in the guidebook, and I will read you what it has to say. Okay, Council of Light, divine orchestration, helpers in the subtle realms. The Council of Light is a team of benevolent beings who are here to assist the raising of consciousness of the planet. They are here to help you achieve your soul mission and are guiding you every step of the way. However, because we live in a world where free will reigns, they cannot help you without your permission. If you would like their assistance, it is time to ask them. They can help with all kinds of requests. Nothing is too big or too small. Think of them as your personal team of helpers in the spirit realm. They're willing and ready to step in and get to work. What would you like help with? What tasks would you like to delegate to them? The Council of Light is a team of ascended masters, light beings, angels, and guides devoted to the rising of Earth and all humanity. If you are a light worker, it is from them that you receive your personal mission. Like a spirit world United Nations, they want to thank you so much for doing this work and devoting your life to uplifting the planet. Pray to them for clarity and guidance regarding your personal mission. Put in your requests and let them get to work. And then there's an activation, which I'll read in case you guys have any interest in doing it. So it says, hold the card on your heart or visualize yourself doing so and say, Council of Light, I am ready to receive your help for fulfilling my personal dharmic mission. Thank you for guiding me with clarity every step of the way and for sending me helpers and experiences that delight my mind, body, and soul. Nice. So yeah, oh, balance that. So yeah, if you are a spiritual person, perhaps you already have a connection to your spirit guides, your ancestors, you know, however you connect to that type of energy. And so you might already have a practice, you might have stepped away from a practice, or you could be completely new, and maybe this is a good opportunity for you to develop a practice to you know, speak to or connect with your guides. And at the very least, the simplest way to do this, even if you're a skeptic, even if you don't connect with this, but you want to just give it a try, sometimes it's just a matter of speaking out loud, right? So voicing your truth, voicing your concerns, voicing your needs, asking for help, asking for support, because at the very least, it's not going to hurt you, right? At the very least, even if you don't believe in it and you don't believe anything is happening as a result, you've taken that time to speak truth to power. And speaking is such a powerful thing. Our words are such a powerful thing that even that can you know, influence our experience and kind of get the gears in motion. So you can't receive if you don't ask, right? They're here, they're supporting you, but there's only so much that they can do, right? We have free will, and if we want to give them permission to help us and to step in, we have to specifically ask. Asking is giving them permission to help us. And then it's also important to be really open and flexible to receive, to see the ways that support might be coming in, and not to shut off from it, not to deny it, or not to overlook it, or not to feel as though we don't deserve it if we see that those requests are being supported or fulfilled. So yeah, something to keep in mind. All right, let's get to a couple of affirmations that might help you along your journey this month. So these might be helpful for you right now, or even making a note of them and returning to them as you move through the month. So your first affirmation: I speak with confidence because the world needs my light. So especially if you identify as a light worker, this also goes into the importance of communicating our truth with authenticity, right? So being confident, the more time you spend connecting to and knowing yourself, the more confident that you can be in making decisions from that place and speaking from that place. And by doing so, you allow things to kind of either fall into place or fall out of place to make room for something better. And then your second affirmation: I make decisions from a place of intuition and power. Yeah, so that also goes hand in hand with knowing yourself, trusting yourself, not allowing yourself to get drawn into a situation that you know isn't good for you. So it's like being able to ground yourself, reconnect with what's most important to you, from a place of love and power, and trusting that you are ultimately the one who has the power at the end of the day. No one and nothing can take that away from you, unless you allow it to, right? And even if you do find yourself kind of falling into a bad habit or being drawn into something that isn't right for you, like I said, at any time you can stop, you can make a different decision, you can change that trajectory, right? So just do what's right for you. Okay, Virgo, I'm going to leave your reading there. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, if you found this reading to be helpful at all, the best way to support me is to like this video on YouTube, or leave me a comment and let me know what you think or how it resonated. Beyond that, if there's anyone you feel might be interested in my readings, you can go ahead and share my channel or my readings with them. And if you haven't already, make sure you head over to my channel, ensure you're subscribed, and that you click the little bell icon to ensure that you are going to receive notifications, as that will keep you up to date on all of my new readings as they're posted. So Virgo, I hope you guys have a beautiful month. It's been an absolute pleasure reading for you, and I look forward to connecting with you and reading for you again in the future. And in the meantime, I'm wishing you all the very best.